Hello, and welcome to the Microsoft Customer Success Day around Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. My name is Sean Deacon. I'm a Principal Cloud Solution Architect with the Microsoft Business Applications team within the Customer Success unit. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about evolving your Microsoft Business Applications experience through Microsoft Unified Enterprise Support. As far as the agenda, we're going to look at, how do you evolve your Microsoft experience further? Leveraging Microsoft Unified Enterprise in business application deployments, and customer success stories that we have to share with you along the way. I do have a confidentiality notice. This is on here for some of the slides, so I want to make sure that we have this as part of the presentation, and we'll jump in. So when we talk about, first evolving your Microsoft experience, what does that really mean as we're looking at this? And so at Microsoft, we want to partner even more deeply with you, more strategically with you as you move forward to help you achieve your goals faster, right? We've listened to the feedback. We've heard from many customers like you that we're looking to bring this type of experience where we have the right resource, the right technical experts to help you accelerate your time to value and achieve your business goals. With Microsoft Unified, you will realize a better connected experience with Microsoft that looks like this. On the right-hand side, we're looking at this end-to-end strategy. Your customer success account manager, or your CSAM, will take a holistic view of your portfolio and drive you towards your business priorities and objectives through upfront and continuous success planning. Your CSAM will be with you every step of the way to help ensure that you have consistent alignment through your priorities and of your technical execution. The second part is really that technical depth and scale, and that's where my team comes in. And our goal there is to deliver that increased value to you through your deep technical expertise of the designated resources focused on your success plans, your outcomes, so you can see real, tangible, and consistent delivered business value month after month. And lastly, we want outcome-driven solutions, right? This past year, we've provided a number of workshops to upskill your teams and assessments to help you maintain a healthy IT environment. In the coming year, you'll notice even more of these workshops and different engagements available to you as either prepackaged solutions, repeatable services, or custom engagements tailored to your needs to improve your IT health, accelerate your deployment, and help you get the most out of your Microsoft investments. At Microsoft, we're committed to driving your success proactively, and we look forward to partnering with you closely in the year ahead. If we look a little further into this and kind of what does it mean, this end-to-end strategy as part of the customer success planning, and this is where your customer success account manager, your CSAM, will work with you across all the technologies, not just Dynamics 365 or Power Platform, but it's really understanding how does that fit in, right? These business applications, how do they fit into the greater Microsoft ecosystem that you have within your organization? So from M365 and Azure and Teams and different things that you may already be using, how are these connected? How do we get the most out of these investments that you made in the Microsoft cloud? And how we do that is on the right-hand side as we look, number one, establishing a success criteria to help to drive towards those business priorities through the customer success planning. And that's the plans that the CSAM will help you with to help to make sure that you're implementing the right resources at the right time and helping to resolve any blockers along the way. The second one is really providing a better connected experience to get the best technical resource engaged at the right time. So that's where cloud solution architects like myself, bringing them in to help with areas within Dynamics 365. If you need somebody for Dynamics 365 marketing, or you need somebody to work on some Power Automate with this integration with the Dataverse and how things are set up, that's where the CSAM is going to help to orchestrate that. And then lastly, aligning upcoming initiatives to accelerate business value through deeper alignment. And this is where when we talk about like wave releases, obviously with Dynamics 365 and Power Platform, there's two major wave releases that happen each year. And understanding, how do you parse through that 500 plus page release notes? Thank you to the product team for that. Very detailed. It's exactly what we wanted. But also it can be a little overwhelming at times for what is actually going to apply to our deployment, right? The apps that we're using and making sure that we're taking advantage of the right things at the right time. And that's where the partnership between the CSAM and the cloud solution architect that you have working with you through this program can help you in those ways. And digging in a little bit more, just kind of that technical depth at scale to accelerate the value and planning for your success. If you look at on the right-hand side, whether you're just getting started and you need help with architecture design, technology POCs, onboarding, our technical blocker mitigation, we can help in that area. Or if you want to go even deeper and you start to look at things like health checks and assessments, and how do we look at the code review or a performance of what's going on within the specific plugin or some connector that you have to another system, we can help with that through these offerings, as well as workshops to help to upskill your team for the different technologies, maybe stuff that you're already using or things that you're considering using going forward to make sure you're ready to take on those new applications. We also have offerings like around solution optimization and modern service management. Modern service management can be things around center of excellence and adoption, and how do we make sure that as a business we're ready to take on what IT is putting together for us, right, or what's being built out, and getting all that put in place, and roles and responsibilities, who's doing what. That type of stuff can be covered through our modern service management offerings and much more. And really, when we look at this, everything that we're doing, we want to be doing towards these outcome-driven solutions. Right? You as a business obviously have goals and priorities that you're working towards. Your CSAM and your team is going to be working with you to understand, what do we need from Microsoft to help to make that happen. So we look at things on the left-hand side, kind of top to bottom, addressing complex IT challenges. There's things internally that you have that are set up and working already, things that you want to get set up and configured, systems that you want to get connected. How do we make sure this all happens and do it in a way that it's going to perform well for the business so that you can achieve those outcomes that you're trying to get with these solutions? Driving solution deployment. So expediting implementation through onboarding services, making sure that the architecture reviews are done at the right time, making sure that code reviews are done at the right time, performance benchmarks are done before go live, so you can be prepared for what's going to happen on Monday when you have the release and the users actually start using the system. How do we make sure we're ready for that? Planning and co-designing solutions. So things around, we've got a number of services around activates where we can help you prepare for a new product or a new service that you're going to be onboarding, and you want to say, how do we actually set this up so that we can get Dynamics 365 marketing set up and talking back and forth with our other systems properly here? Or maybe it's something with a Teams integration with Dynamics 365. How do we do this? We know that we're using both these tools. We want to get this working. We've got activates around that to help you get that. Not only how do you use it or how is it supposed to work, but then let's get it configured in your environment so you can take it and just work with it. It's not like a throwaway project, right? It's something you're actually doing in your environments to work with it. The next one, removing technical blockers. So these are things where, we've got in-depth assessments around, I mentioned earlier, the code reviews and performance reviews. So these are things where let's find problems before they happen, or maybe you have some concerns from the business where stuff is not performing properly and you want to figure out, how do we address these things? We want a performance review to check everything that's going on in the system, but let's make sure we at least focus on these 4 or 5 things, right? These are the areas that have been reported by the business, kind of our top priorities. We can take that into consideration when we do the scoping call to be able to take care of those for you. And then lastly, develop that culture of health, right? All of our services that we look at within here are really around get healthy, stay healthy. And there's a number of different ways we do that through the services I just mentioned, as well as there's thousands of on-demand and live services available in Services Hub that you can use across the organization. So not only in Biz Apps, but also across M365 and Teams and all the other Azure, all the different areas within the Microsoft Cloud are available through the Services Hub catalog. Let's dig in just a little bit further then on with Microsoft Unified Enterprise and what does this mean and what do we actually use this for? So we know today customers face some challenging realities, right? That's the world that we're living in right now. There's a growing economic uncertainty in certain areas. Organizations around the world are having to evaluate, how do we make technology investments go further? Right. So some examples, inflation and rising energy prices. Some questions that you might be asking as an organization is, can we afford to move forward with this migration? Right. Can we afford not to? Right. What would be the cost if we don't do this? Right. We need to think about this this bigger picture. You look at geopolitical tensions. How do we streamline our operations to reduce costs? Supply chain disruptions. Everybody has seen that. If you've ever gone grocery shopping in the last couple of years, you've seen this. But do we have the right governance to manage these technology investments that we have made here? Workforce reductions. Unfortunately, we've seen some of this throughout the industry and with different customers and partners. And this is something that you need to look at. Can we our security strategy keep up with the ever-changing, reducing workforce? Right? How do we do this type of stuff? How do we do potentially more with less if we need to? And then increased labor costs, right? The cost to get the right resources, it can be expensive. How do we ramp up the folks that we have internally here so that they're upskilled and they're using what their knowledge to support the technologies that we've made the investment in already? So we're looking to really do this to drive the success across all the Microsoft technologies. And Microsoft Unified helps you do more with less in these uncertain times. If we think about it and just kind of break it down into three categories here, it's around protecting your organization, right? Getting the advice to proactively manage your IT health, maximize uptime, and a comprehensive response plan to this. Accelerating your outcomes, right? Partnering with a team of Microsoft experts, cloud solution architects like myself and my team to help you co-design, configure, and implement your solutions that you're deploying for business applications. And enabling me to do more. How do you transform our most critical solutions for success in a cloud first and maximizing your investment? Right, that's what we're really looking for. And so just building on this a little bit more, putting some numbers with, doing more with less with Microsoft Unified and how we would do that. If we break it down into 4 different categories that we kind of see as themes across is, how do we get faster migrations, right? And that's getting the right advice at the right time, the right planning done properly so that you don't have to do any rework. You're not having to go back and fix things that we weren't prepared for to happen. So, and that's, that leads to cost optimizations, making sure that we've got the right size cloud usage, the right infrastructure, everything in place so that we know that this is going to work for the workloads that we're planning to put into production. As well as cost cutting, right? What are the things that we potentially don't need anymore, right? Or things are, if we do this code review and we find these issues and we take care of them ahead of time, it's a lot cheaper to fix things before go live than post go live when all of a sudden your business is down or impacted by not being able to do something because of some type of a code defect. And with that, just bringing that productivity boost, right? Ultimately, these are tools that you're building for your business. So you're making your employees more productive so that they can sell more widgets, so they can service more customers, whichever industry you're in. These are, that's the reason that we're doing this, of course. Some numbers, taking a look, as percentage wise, faster cloud migrations, like 35%, based on some of the studies that are done. They got the references on the bottom of the slide. Azure cost optimization, lower third-party migration consulting costs. So these are all things that can contribute to that. And there's a quote on the bottom by Angie Paler from the infrastructure operations lead team with the UK Department of Education. And the quote there is, she said, last year, our cost savings using Microsoft Unified designated support engineers was in the region of 10 million euros. So these are real impacts that they're seeing through the Microsoft Unified services for our customer organizations. And we really are trying to implement the strategic partnership to drive your success with Microsoft, right? As we're looking at this, every unified customer gets access to that designated customer success account manager who gets that end-to-end look at your solution, focus on maximizing your business outcomes. And we're really doing that across these 3 main business categories: plan, deliver, and confirm value. If we talk about the planning first, think about things like customer success planning, right? What were those outcomes that you wanted to get to, right? These are what were your business objectives, and how do we make sure that you're using the right Microsoft resources at the right time? Your customer success account manager will help you to build out those plans, as well as support projects that support those plans, right? What are the things that we need to bring in for this technology or that technology across the Microsoft stack to make sure we get the right technical resources at the right time? Moving to the next one, the deliver. This is where you unlock that value through that orchestration by improving operational health and implementing new workloads. And that's done through a lot of different proactive services, things like we talked about, like performance benchmark or a code review and different assessments that we would do to make sure that the operational health is where it needs to be in order for this to go live. And lastly, but confirming the value, right? You have made this investment in the Microsoft Cloud and investment in Microsoft Unified, and as part of that, we're making sure that there's consistent delivery reviews and kind of closeout reports to make sure that the outcomes are reached here and that we've achieved the objectives, and strategic business reviews to make sure that you guys are having everything that you need from the business side tied together with the IT side to have success within your organization. This one shows just some unified features at a glance, and kind of like, well, what is all included in there? What do I get? And this talks to like the technical support, kind of the response times depending on the severity of the issue that you submit. There's different response times, escalation management. A lot of that is done through your CSAM, making sure you get the right resources. There's also incident manager that helps with a lot of that. IT health, cloud assistance. And the one that I spend the most time in is on the bottom, the enhanced solutions. And that's where the DSE offering, the designated support engineering offering, that's been recently renamed to enhanced designated engineering as we continue to evolve these offerings for our customers. And this is where truly you get a cloud solution architect, someone from my team, and we have resources across all the different areas within the Microsoft technologies globally. So there's someone in your region who can be helping you with this, and we become an extension of your team, right? Somebody who is there in your meetings with you as a customer, with your solution implementer, who's out there implementing it and making sure that we're giving the right guidance at the right time, helping to remove technical blockers and really maximize the investment that you've made in the Microsoft services that you've invested in. So let's jump in a little bit more and talk about the business application specific ones and some of our what we call designated engineering offerings. The three main ones that we have are Project Quality Advisory, and PQA. You'll hear us refer to it internally. And this is available for Dynamics 365 customer engagement or for Dynamics 365 finance and operations. And the PQA offering is really, it's meant to be a prior to implementation stage. That's kind of when we're going into this, where you have a partner-led implementation where we can give prescriptive implementation guidance following a success by design principles to help to ensure that you have a successful implementation. And so it's using the knowledge of our cloud solution architects who have been through hundreds of different deployments across the globe, across different upgrades, different versions, kind of very familiar with all this type of stuff and understanding when do we need to be doing what as we go through it and looking at all the different stages. And we'll dig into that one a little bit more in just a minute here. But the other one we have is solution optimization. And this is more for environments where you're just about to go live, or you've been live for several years, but you've got some technical blockers. There's some things that aren't working properly, or maybe performance is not ideal. It used to be fast, but now that we've grown and we've got terabytes of data and we've got all these integrations and we're not sure why things are slowing down or what's not working, but the business is reporting they're not satisfied with how it's performing today. The solution optimization package is designed with a set of a methodology, certain steps and practices that we know has working year after year through our DSE offerings that we've kind of evolved this into, where the solution optimization package can help you with that. And then the next one, this is one that we're just finishing up to be available real soon, is the Manage and Evolve. And this is around accelerating adoption, solution expansion, and increasing the ROI. So increasing your return on the investment that you've made in the Microsoft services. And this is where these are for post go live, of course, and these are ones where maybe things are going well, but we're just wondering like what else are we missing? Like what are we not taking advantage of that we have access to with our licensing that we've got? And so we'll have cloud solution architects on our team look at this with you, look at your licensing, understanding what's missing, or maybe you have ideas of things where it's do we have what about this Teams integration and how do we get Dynamics and Teams working better together? Or I heard about this new sales accelerator and we want to look to put that in, right? The new marketing, real-time marketing, we want to use this new feature. Like all that type of stuff can be done through the Manage and Evolve offering, or we can work with you to understand your business needs and then how it fits in specifically, with the Dynamics 365 and Power Platform stacks within Microsoft. So let's jump in a little bit more under the Project Quality Advisory and kind of what this all entails. And as we listen to customers and partners, and kind of where could they have used help? Like, what do we run into in some of these implementations? And some of the feedback we heard was that, some of these are large Dynamics 365 projects. They're complicated and potentially risky because it's like, this is running the business. This is the core of our business. So this has to be right. Help guide us through this journey. There could be things where some partners maybe have skills in certain areas, but maybe not as strong in another area. How do you help to complement that, right? This has to work at this enterprise scale, and we need that Microsoft assistance for this. we're looking for a Microsoft resource to help bring this all together. That's really what it is to help to complement this and to work alongside of your solution implementer and your customer team to make sure that this is deployed successfully. You know, how do we reduce the risk? And then the last one, right? We want to engage directly with Microsoft to have some Microsoft skin in the game to support our success. And these are all some of the things that contributed towards this project quality advisory offering that we put together. As we look at implementations, this the chart on the left kind of shows this is oftentimes how implementations go. They get started and there's some handoff, and then it wasn't what business thought it was going to be, and now they have to rework, or it didn't work properly, didn't perform well, or just didn't, just problems that were completely missed because we didn't do code reviews or we didn't do a performance benchmark, we didn't follow the right architecture design methodology, right? So that you get these disjointed implementation experience. Like obviously you don't want to have that. That's where you're going to lose the confidence of your business. You're going to lose the confidence of your users that are trying to use this tool, and it leads to low usage and consumption and just falls below the business needs and what the goals were for this application. On the right-hand side, this is where we look at with project quality advisory. This is how the projects tend to go. This is what we've seen based on the years of experience that we've had implementing with partners and customers around getting a well-orchestrated framework in place with doing the right things at the right time. And we've got this methodology that we go through to make sure that we're doing this and making sure that we're ready for production level consumption when the time is right, and making sure that all the objectives are continuously met at each milestone throughout your implementation. So what does that really mean? What type of things would you be doing? And this slide helps to put that together, just kind of showing, the customer success offering to advise customers with prescriptive guidance and recommended practices for complex D365 implementations around these kind of the areas below: program advisory, solution architecture and technical reviews, code and performance health checks, improve build and deployment quality. So a lot of that's a hot topic with Azure DevOps, and moving from unmanaged solutions to managed solutions, and being able to have continuous integration, continuous deployment, all that type of stuff. We spend a lot of time with customers on that, kind of building that into their existing processes, or maybe improving their existing processes so it works well with Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. And then the education workshops, with the multiple release waves that come every year, it's one of the benefits of the cloud. You don't have to wait long for features, right? Functionality that's coming at you at a very rapid pace, which is fantastic. I think one of the challenges that customers have is being able to consume it fast enough. And it's oftentimes there's these options are there. You don't have to turn them on if you don't want to, but it's really nice to be able to take advantage of these if you've already paid for them and these are available. And the cloud solution architects can really help you through this PQA offering to make sure that you're using the right features at the right time. And we're not building something custom that's coming in the next release wave, for example, right? We help you stay ahead of that, be part of those preview programs, and help to make sure that you're optimizing your investment. And it's delivered by best-in-class technical advisors. These are cloud solution architects, the folks that are on my global team that we have throughout business applications with years of experience of delivering this, following this methodology, so we can have successful implementations, repeatable over and over again. And you may be wondering, okay, well, what is that? Like, what type of activities? What are you doing? What are the different packages? So we put it out into 3 different tiers. There's an essential, an advanced, and premium. And these are just the list of activities at a high level. Some of them are going to be like Services Hub. That's the portal where you log in with unified support. You get access to the on-demand assessments, the training. You can kind of view all your support tickets, that type of stuff. And then you get into different activities that are maybe going to be more ad hoc as you're doing it, because each deployment will be a little bit different how they do it. But other ones are more prescriptive, where you have like our solution blueprint review and a data migration assessment. So we want to make sure that we're doing all this stuff. And some of it will be, okay, our partner is already doing that. Great. Let's just look it over, make sure everything looks good. We're not missing anything. We're happy to do that. Or there's things where we weren't doing any of this. Can you help us? Can Microsoft help us in this area, because our partner is focused on these other things within the statement of work? That's fine. We can help to complement that and work through those. And it's a number of packaged services too, like the code review, best practices review. Those are built in as part of it. So these are things that you're familiar with, especially if you're an existing, previously Premier, now Unified support customer. You've seen some of this stuff. So a lot of it's proven things from over the years. We've just packaged it together to make it easier, so it's all available to you in one spot. And just to summarize that, like PQA at a glance, it's the experienced advisors, detailed technical functional review. So kind of from that really technical to, but also the functional side as well, to make sure you're using those features and functionality. The end users are going to know here's what's available to me and how we can use that within our business to make sure that we're avoiding common pitfalls, mitigating risk, and overcoming deployment blockers. And then the last one on the right is Microsoft in your corner, right? Where you've got that named resource. You've got a cloud solution architect who's working with you on this. They also have access to bring in a team of other people as needed. So as you know, Dynamics 365 Power Platform, it's a really broad platform. It continues to grow and expand. There isn't one person who's going to know all of this stuff. I'll use myself, for example. I've been in business applications at Microsoft for almost 20 years now, but I'm not a developer. And so if you want to talk about development, I can have some high-level conversations. If you want to debug a plugin and go line for line, I'm going to bring in somebody else, right, who's going to help you do that. So that's that team approach, kind of like a pod model that we do with these deliveries to get you the right resource at the right time. And I mentioned the Success by Design framework. It's based on this. This is kind of that repeatable framework where we work on, having early detection, proactive guidance, and predictable success. This is what we're trying to drive as we go through that Success by Design methodology. So you're getting a similar type experience for each of these deliveries when you're working with your customers. All right. The next one we'll talk about is solution optimization. And solution optimization, kind of a similar layout to Project Quality Advisor with this. But again, remember, this was the post-deployment one. So you're almost gone live, or you've been live for a while, or many years in some cases. But you still have some things where, we built this 10 years ago, and obviously our business has changed, but I don't think our solution hasn't really come with us. Help us get up to speed. How do we move away from all these old workflows that we're using to use Power Automate Flow, for example? We've got custom plugins, custom actions, all this kind of like technical debt that's there, but it would all still work obviously today. But how do we move to using some of these built-in connectors and some of the stuff where it's automatically updated for us? We don't have to worry about APIs being deprecated and things like that. We can just use the latest. So that's some of the examples. But really, again, looking for that Microsoft resource so that we can engage directly with Microsoft and help to work through these technical blockers to get to an optimized solution for our customer. And how we deliver that within solution optimization is really around these things. So solution reviews, deployment strategies, code and performance health checks, remediation of technical blockers, administration and education workshops. There's a lot of workshops that we have. There's obviously online training that's available, and we provide all that too. We give it's free, that access that's out there. A lot of that we have is prereqs to come to these instructor-led trainings because we want you to have that base level, right? That 100 level. So when you come into these, we don't have to explain here's what this is or here's what that is. We're ready for this kind of more advanced kind of one-on-one content with you and your customer organization to go through that, and gives you the opportunity to say, okay, well, in our environment, how would we do this? Like, here's our scenario, and let me share my screen with you. And like we can do all that with these workshops to help with those areas. And then the last one, the new feature and functionality discussions. This is something that's always happening where, with my customer that I work with, we do a technical update briefing every month to make sure that we're, seeing the latest and greatest, what's available, what's coming, so we can prepare for that, and we can set up additional sessions based on areas of interest where we want to dig in further with those organizations. With this, the solution optimization, it's delivered by the same group of cloud solution architects. We do a scoping exercise before this to make sure that we get the right skill sets with the right solution, cloud solution architect to assign to work with you on your solution optimization. Similar to PQA, we've got an essential tier, an advanced, and a premium tier. And again, these are just examples, kind of what's included. We've got this methodology that we like to follow, but you have the flexibility with what's included in the package to adapt to what's actually needed for your organization. So if there's, we don't need the admin workshop because we've already had that 6 months ago, but we really want a DevOps session, or we want to have a session on AI Builder and how we were going to tie this together with Dynamics 365 Omnichannel. Like, there's a lot of that stuff that you've got the flexibility that you can build in with these solution optimization packages. So your CSAM and your cloud solution architect that's assigned will help to work through that plan with you and get those scheduled at the right time. And again, just to at a glance to look at this, the similar pillars, the experienced advisors, right? These are the cloud solution architects with years of deployment experience to help you with this. Field tested best practices. So these are things like our code reviews and different assessments. And these are, we've seen so many deployments like this. We want to make sure that help you be successful. And that's what we're driving through these programs is that type of that knowledge to make sure you have all that. And then last, Microsoft in your corner, right? Increasing the adoption for success through that guidance, tune your solution to ensure the maximum benefit for the future, and satisfying the demands of your business and end users by bringing that Microsoft perspective to this to the solution. All right, with that, let's jump into some customer success stories and some that we've worked with here. In this example, this is a large bank in the U.S. Business application. This was one where they're a long-time Dynamics on-premise CRM customer back in the day, and now we help them through these offerings to move them into to online. And so there was obviously for some of these that have these large thousands and thousands of users, pretty complex deployments, for being able to look at all their user stories, look at all their integrations, kind of everything that goes with that, being able to say, well, okay, this is how we did it on premise. How do we do that in online? So the outcome, the program outcomes that they're really looking for, the customer, what they wanted was obviously they want a successful cloud migration, right? We need to move 4,000 plus users into this already environment with 10,000 users. How do we get all these together and working together? We really need near zero downtime, right? This is like everybody's using the system all of the time. We're not really closed. Like we have to be able to do this with near zero downtime. We want to take advantage of the new UI, the user enhancements that come with it. Like, so how do we make sure that we get the training delivered at the right time and that we're ready to take advantage of the new features and functionality that we get in online that potentially weren't there with on-premise? And then the performance improvements, being able to take advantage of the scale that we have of our Microsoft Cloud across Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. That's one of the other obviously big advantages to moving to online. We did that through a program team of cloud solution architects, customer success account managers, CSM, also partnership from other Microsoft roles like Fast Track and support. Across our services with enhanced designated engineering, so formerly the DSE offering, to help them with strategy and planning, helping them with developer assistance, right? How do we take these maybe non-sandbox plugins and moving them to sandbox plugins and stuff that worked on premise this way, now we have to do this way and online, stepping through that type of stuff through the migration, that architecture guidance, day-to-day support, and really in troubleshooting around how do we deliver this. When we look at the impact, some of this is for this customer had been the 7th consecutive year of working with them across this, not just on this project, obviously, but it's like, we've been working with them for many years. But that's the part when we talk about these enhanced solutions and that extension of your team, that's truly what it is. It's folks that have been there a long time, working with you, hopefully for a long time on these projects to help you to be successful and maximize your investment that you've made in the Microsoft Cloud. And my favorite part on the right-hand side, the comments, and these are, when we look, these are, directly from the customer, where I feel that the customer success team, it was an integral piece of our dynamic success. The team we have is very complementary in skills to aid us in everything from production support to upcoming product and feature reviews. From my vantage, leveraging our CSAs saves me countless hours of my own research, which gives us a quicker time, speed to market. Right, so that's a great quote. The other one, this is from a Microsoft account team, just talking about this phenomenal result from this culmination of this great deal of hard work from cross-team collaboration, bringing in that right resource at the right time, right? We continue to make huge strides in large banking customer, commercially and consumption, and a significant milestone in that journey. And the last one, this is another customer quote. I frantically reached out to one of our CSAs, even though he had been up late in the evening with one of our ISVs, and he did not hesitate to join our call. He was able to help figure this issue out, save the migration from being rolled back, and it'd be an understatement if I tried to express the relief that we felt. I have worked with the CSA since I joined the team 4 years ago, and I've learned to respect the humility and the depth of knowledge. Please know we truly appreciate what they have done, especially on Saturday. So that's a great quote for that one. The next one customer is Kodak Alaris. So we are going to drill into every detail of this chart to make sure y'all know this before we leave. I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. But I just want to have this here for attention so you can see the level of technical detail that we get into, obviously, as a cloud solution architect. So if anywhere from a functional question of how does this work or what's going on in this area of the product, what are we supposed to do here, all the way down to how does this back-end solution, this ERP solution, connect through BizTalk, through this middleware to whichever other systems it needs to internally, right? Those are all things that we can kind of help from that full scale of experience and expertise in these areas. So Kodak Alaris, obviously a brand that everybody has heard of. It's been around more than 130 years, synonymous with imaging, combining the latest innovations in imaging science, artificial intelligence, advanced process automation to help deliver digital transformations and smart business solutions to their customers around the world. Kodak Alaris was running Dynamics 360 or Dynamics AX 2012 on premise and was nearing the end of life. So in early 2020, the team performed an initial high-level assessment of more than a dozen ERP solutions. The effort resulted in a short list of 5 ERP vendor solutions, including Microsoft Dynamics 365. During the RFP process, Microsoft provided product demonstrations that showcased the proposition of Dynamics 365 along with the Microsoft ecosystem. Microsoft also introduced the Microsoft Data Migration Program, designed to help customers update key customizations and data from legacy Dynamics AX 2012 to Dynamics 365. This program differentiated Microsoft from other contenders. In the end, Kodak Alaris selected Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Supply Chain based on a combination of fit for their business, processes, cost, and ease of implementation. Kodak Alaris now has a cost-efficient, out-of-the-box ERP system that runs their business efficiently. Most importantly, the system is evergreen. When the technology or standards change, Kodak Alaris won't have to implement another ERP system. And we have a quote here from Paul Wells, the CEO of Kodak Alaris. The outcome of all this work, coupled with Dynamics 365 being a more modern, capable solution, has resulted in a reduction of customization by 45% and a reduction of ISV solutions by 25%. As a result, the implementation of this new global technology ERP software will provide Kodak Alaris with a more secure and efficient way of operating for the future. So great quote from Paul Wells there. And the last one, this one I can talk the most about. This is for my customer. They're a large church organization, and this is a quote that we got just last week from one of the marketing product managers with the church. Sean and his team, Matt, Rafia, and Danny, have been invaluable in supporting us so far, and their continued support for us, even up to this day that I'm writing this. But what's most important to us is the confidence that we have in this team going forward into the future as we introduce more groups and departments to Dynamics 365 as a solution, and as we see more improvements come to real-time marketing and better ways for us to leverage the ever-evolving technology we use. Without these lovely Microsoft folks, we would feel a significant impact in our pace, success in use, and confidence in exploring what Dynamics can do for us. They are the bedrock as we continue to advance the communication efforts of the church. So this is a customer that I've actually been with for over 15 years now, working with them ever since they had CRM version 4.0 on premise, just one organization. So now we have there's hundreds of production environments across multiple M365 tenants. And so we work with them, myself and Matt, Rafia, and Danny and team, and we pull in others from our team as well when needed. We've got a pin chat in Teams, and we've got 60 plus people in there from the church and Microsoft collaborating daily on different topics as they come up across the hundreds of different deployments that they have. It just works really well. We're just a great true extension of their team where we're at mentioning each other and working through these things. We can spin off separate calls if we need to, screen sharing sessions. We do monthly technical update briefings, different assessments for different deployments depending on the stages that they're in, workshops based on their business needs. So there's a number of things that we're doing with them where they're seeing the value of the enhanced designated engineering offering within their unified support year after year as they continue down their business journeys. So while it's possible to implement Dynamics 365 without Microsoft Unified Enterprise support, as you do get professional level support with your subscription licensing, you can see by all the benefits that Unified Enterprise provides and some of the business application designated engineering offerings like PQA, Solution Optimize, Manage and Evolve that we talked about. and also the customer testimony that you'll have a much better experience, a smoother implementation, and quicker time to realize value in your organization investments in Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. So as we look at kind of, what do we go from here? Planning your transition to unified enterprise if you're not already there. So reach out to your Microsoft executive or account executive or your AE if you don't already have unified enterprise support. If you do, connect with your CSAM and ask, how do we do some more with business applications? We want to take a look at this, or we have this. Now I've heard about these other offerings. How do we get more information on these to engage the cloud solution architects to help us with our business objectives? And there's also the last one on the right, number 3, we've got some online resources there, aka.ms/Microsoft-Unified. You can go see all about the unified enterprise. And then the second link there, this is a link to our blog where we've got our service offerings, where there's data sheets for the code reviews that I mentioned, the performance reviews, all the workshops, the activates, PQA, solution optimized, all those data sheets are out there. So you can take a look at those and you can just send that right to your CSAM to connect and ask, when can we get some more information on this? When can we schedule this? We're happy to help out. And lastly, listen, I know Microsoft is a really big company, right? 200,000 plus employees globally, and you might not know how to find out who your AE is, or maybe you don't have an AE and I just have a question. I got to figure out who would I contact for this. I'm putting my email address there. If you have any questions on this presentation, feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to help out and get you to the right person. And with that, thank you for listening to the presentation today. I hope that this is valuable to you. You got to learn some more about the Microsoft Unified Enterprise support and within business applications and how our team can help you with your business success. Have a great day.